guys, welcome back to another video. Today is going to be a top 10 countdown. I'm going to be counting down my top 10 favorite Tool songs of all time. They're one of my favorite bands and it's really hard to choose just 10 songs to pick as favorites. But I managed to do it. I managed to narrow it down. And a little disclaimer right here is that my favorite album by far by Tool is 10,000 Days, so there's going to be a lot of picks from 10,000 Days on this list. In my opinion, I think Tool has gotten better as they've gone on. Each album was better than the last, so that's why I have, I guess, more newer songs in there, but they're not really that new because, you know, 10,000 Days is from 2006. Remember to look in the description for honorable mentions. There are songs that are also favorites of mine but didn't quite make the list. So with that being said, let's move on to my number 10 pick. This song captures Tool's older sound since it is on their second album, but the way the bass line is constructed actually reminds me of 10,000 Days. This song is nearly 10 minutes long. The instrumentation is great all around, and the slower sections have a great atmosphere. The finale moment, I like to call it, during the last couple minutes is what makes this song. It's like several mini songs paired together. Out of all the Anima songs, this is one that actually sounds like newer. This song doesn't sound like it came from the 90s, but I guess that's just me. Now, keep in mind this is my only pick from Undertow. I still like the album, but it is my least favorite by them. I feel like they kind of developed a better sound as they went on. But this song is fantastic. This song perfectly illustrates old school Tool anger because the raging lyrics really convey that a lot. Passionate, raspy vocals come from Maynard on this track. I can actually hear a bit of a resemblance between Maynard here and Ben Burnley from Breaking Benjamin. I feel like Ben most likely took vocal inspiration straight from this specific song because it sounds that much like him in the chorus of this song. The way the drums and guitars work together in this softer section is amazing, and the drumming, the overall rhythm, and the vocal phrasing in this song, kind of like how the rhythm all works together, is what landed this song on the list because it's extremely catchy, and I always come back to this one. The title makes me think of algebra, which kind of sucks. The guitar-driven intro to this song is classic and easily recognizable by any Tool fan. When the short bass heavy verse kicks in and Maynard is singing softly, it sounds similar to the song Anima, which is an honorable mention by the way. And the chorus has these great higher vocals. I'd say hands down this is one of their catchiest songs because the melody is so well constructed and very easy to remember. It's a very memorable song overall. The lyrics are spiritual and are what I would call classic Tool because it's talking about how the human body kind of limits us and makes us mortal, but we're like immortal beings. Like, I think that's kind of what the lyrics are trying to get across. The outro has some fantastic drum and guitar work also. Picks 6, 7, and 8 were extremely close, so keep that in mind that I like them almost equally. Now, with that being said, let's move on to my number 7 pick. Out of all the Lateralus songs, I'd say Reflection is not only one of the more underappreciated songs, if that's even a thing, because Lateralus is extremely appreciated, which it should be, and also one of the most experimental on the album. The intro has a mix of the standard drums and also some bongos, I'm pretty sure, and then the bass line that drives the entire 11-minute song appears, and this bass line, while it repeats like several times, is actually one of the best things about this song, I would say. The song has a variety of instruments used, going from the bongos to this electronic kind of droning sound, and a foreign sounding instrument that is a stringed instrument, and I have no idea what it is, but it makes this song have an incredible atmosphere to just get lost and kind of zone out while you're listening to it. The vocals come in close to the 4-minute mark, and for a while I actually thought this song was an instrumental, but it's not, obviously. Maynard's voice sounds very layered with this kind of echo on his voice. He's definitely got a lot of effects on his voice, but I actually really like how they sound. I think there's a little bit of a delay too. There's something that like makes his voice sound like otherworldly, like he's in another realm singing. Like I don't even know. He's actually straining a lot in this song. I don't know, when he says it's calling me, it sounds like he's straining, but I actually kind of like that part of it. And I also really like the lyrics because they're about like, I guess, evolving or whatever. Vicarious and Reflection were probably the closest in the list, so I like them almost equally. And they're both very different songs. The reason I like this one so much is because there's a lot of really great things about it. The main riff is kind of reminiscent of 46 and 2 from Ænima. And when it comes to Tool lyrics, these lyrics are some of the clearest to understand and relate to, I think, with a message communicating how we as people separate ourselves from tragedies and become used to them in this kind of sick way. And I think we can all relate to that in the modern age. Vicarious has hands down one of Tool's hookiest, catchiest choruses that is easy to kind of sing along to and remember. There's some great vocals in the chorus along with some backup harmonies that are really nice. The brief bass solo sounds like a guitar solo actually, and it's one of Tool's best moments in the song. Towards the end of the song when Maynard sings vicariously he holds it out in the last chorus, and that is probably one of my favorite moments from him. It's just a fantastically written song through and through, and it's one I come back to a whole lot. This track begins with some brief reversed noises and vocals. I know that the reversed vocals actually do say cohesive words if you actually reverse it and listen to it. I'll have to look that up again. Okay, so an update. I looked it up, and what it actually says is work hard, stay in school, listen to your mother, and your father is right. I am not joking. Listen to it on reverse. It's actually pretty interesting. Eventually, there's this complex bass line with Justin Chancellor playing these very difficult harmonics where you kind of like, if you don't know what harmonics are, you basically barely tap on the string on the fret. There's this really pure note that rings out, and it's really, really cool, and it's not easy to do. And so I really, really like how the whole song is actually layered with like bass harmonics. It's not something that you hear a whole lot. And the vocals are really nice. They keep returning to the line pure as we begin. And they're frequently laced with a lot of backup harmonies, which I like. Intention has a very quiet, powerful, nearly trance-inducing atmosphere that has drawn me in since the very first time I gave this song a listen. And I return to this one a lot just for how beautiful and calming it is to listen to. When you hear that opening bass line, if you know anything about Tool, you know exactly what you're in for just from those first couple seconds. There's these hollow sounding vocal harmonies, this very in-your-face kind of percussion, and of course there's that recognizable bass line throughout the whole verse. The lyrics are also what I would consider classic Tool because they deal with like humanity and communication. Every instrumental section is like perfect pieces that all fit together, contrary to the lyrics because they're talking about pieces that don't fit. As the song goes on, there's a mellow section that I think is actually the biggest highlight of the song because of the soft instruments and Maynard's vocals. They're just so melodic and fantastic right there. Like most Tool songs, this slower section builds up to a huge climax that I really love. And I'm glad this is one of the most well-known songs because it really deserves that status. It really deserves the popularity it has.
I wanna feel the changes coming down. I wanna know what I've been hiding in my shadow. My shadow.
This is one of my first Tool songs I actually ever heard, and to go on a little bit of a story here, whenever I hear this song, I personally think about how for months in 2015, I'd been playing bass for barely a year at the time, and I dedicated so many hours to learning how to play this song on bass. It just kind of makes me think of that. It makes me really happy. It makes me want to just play bass, you know? The title of this song is referring to the amount of chromosomes that people have, and the "and two" in the title is actually communicating a sense of personal evolution. At least that's kind of what I've read online. And in my opinion, this is the best song from Anima and the most mature sounding. The drumming is definitely some of the strongest in Tool's discography, with Danny Carey playing around the downbeat during the bridge. He's never really on the downbeat, he's always just kind of like slightly off, and it's very interesting actually. This whole bridge in general is really great. The way the instruments all come together is amazing. It's hands down one of their best written songs to date, and I can't say enough good things about this song. It's fantastic. This song makes me feel a lot of nostalgia. As I grew up more, I began to love this song even more when I looked into the lyrics, which aren't Tool's strongest, I will admit. They've written better lyrics for sure. I mean, you must have been high, you know? It's like, I do think the lyrics are very emotional and aggressive and intense, and I can appreciate it for that, and I really like that part of it. Maynard's vocal performance here is phenomenal. Because of the rasp and the pure shriek he actually incorporates in parts of this song, the way the instruments are performed are more rhythmic than anything, and they have a defined kind of groove to it, especially in the verses. It's like hard not to nod your head a little bit when you listen to this. And it makes this song significantly stand out in their discography, and that's why it's one of my favorites for sure. And now we move on to my number 1 pick. In the 10,000 Days album, there is actually a track that comes before this called Lost Keys, and I would recommend listening to those songs together if you've never heard this song, because the lyrics make a lot more sense. This 11-minute song begins with guitars and Maynard saying, "Alrighty then, picture this if you will," before the guitars and drums drive forward Maynard's wordy spoken vocals that are literally impossible to like recite, telling a crazy story about a man who is chosen by aliens to deliver an important message about humanity and humanity's ending to the world. Yet the man is panicking more intensely as the song goes on because he can't remember what the message is. I've never heard a song so intense in its depiction of panic, and so convincing. Maynard's vocal performance is probably one of his best, if not his best ever, because he just sounds like he's literally going insane. The way the instruments complement the varying vocals throughout the song is incredible. The drumming is again off the charts in this song, and the guitars are strummed on alternating beats during the section where Maynard sings "Strapped Down in My Bed." It is their best piece of work to date, I think, because of how the crazy elaborate story is told and how the instruments, vocals, and lyrics all come together as one. I think the highlight of the song is the fiercely melodic yet aggressive passage towards the end of the song when Maynard is singing with all his might, "Overwhelmed as one would be placed in my position. Such a heavy burden now to be the one." Stop me before I sing the whole song. One last thing I had to mention, that distorted scream that Maynard James Keenan does when he says, "I can't remember what they said," is just literally the best thing ever, and I did not expect it. On first listen, I thought the song was ending before that, and then they trick you and they make the song go on. I just love everything about it, so that's why it's my favorite Tool song. So I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 countdown. Make sure to check the honorable mentions in the descriptions for a couple more songs I wanted to add as additional favorites. And feel free to leave your top favorite Tool songs in the comment section. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you in the next video.